When it comes to ancient Egypt, nothing is more highly debated than the age of the Sphinx. Blake Cousins, Third Phase Moon. Welcome back, everybody. Some people believe it's over 5,000 years old, and some others believe it's between 12 to 13,000 years old, and some also think that it's up to 25,000 years old. So why such different times? Why is there no consensus of the age of the Sphinx? Well, there's a few things we know for sure. First, the Sphinx is older than the pyramids. Well, how do we know this? Well, going by standard Egyptian chronology, there are records indicating the existence of the Sphinx before the reign of Khufu, the creator of the Great Pyramid. In modern times, when we had discovered the Sphinx, it was covered up to its neck in sand. So there was a long time it was believed that the Sphinx was nothing but a head. But as excavations started to take place all around Egypt, it was discovered that it was not just a head, but there's an entire body attached to the Sphinx. But this isn't the first time that happened. In the year 1401 BC, the pharaoh Thutmose was still only a prince and not even in the line to be a pharaoh. While out hunting on a trip with some of his followers, he grew tired and lay down next to the Sphinx and had a dream. And says the Sphinx spoke to him. And this is what it said. "Look at me, see me. I am your father, and I shall give you the kingship on earth in front of all the living ones. You shall wear the white and red crowns upon the throne of Geb. The earth shall be yours, in its length and width, and all the eye of the Lord of the Illuminatis. The food of the two lands shall be yours, and the great tributes of every foreign land. Your lifetime will be time in many years. My face is yours, my heart is yours, and you are the protector to me. For my condition is like the one that is in need. All my limbs are dismembered, as the sands of the desert upon which I lay have reached me. So run to me to have that done which I desire, knowing you are my son and my protector. Come forth, and I shall be with you. I shall be your leader." So Thutmose did as the Sphinx instructed and uncovered the Sphinx's body. And the Sphinx kept his promise and made Thutmose pharaoh. And to honor the occasion, Thutmose had a stela created and placed it between the paws of the Sphinx. So what does that tell us? It tells us that the time of ancient Egyptians, the Sphinx was already an ancient monolith, a statue buried up to his head in sand. And now, today, modern geologists who study the Sphinx determined that the outside perimeter wall has been eroded away by rain and water. It's fairly unanimous in the world of academia that it hasn't rained like that in over 11,000 years. So even in ancient times, the Sphinx was already ancient, and the Sphinx isn't alone. There's another place in Egypt that was ancient in ancient times. And this temple is unlike any of its surrounding temples near it. It's 15 meters under the ground, and it's made from giant, perfectly cut pieces of solid granite. And although granite is used in a lot of statues and blocks in Egypt, there are no buildings made of solid granite, except for Osirian. If that wasn't strange enough, the Osirian is also lower than the natural water table, so every year, the Osirian fills with water and has to be pumped out. But then, a discovery was made that blew everything else out of the water. Now, while everyone was so wrapped up in the discovery of Tomb Osiris, people were distracted away from the incredible engineering that took place. They started with a shaft, cut 20 feet straight down, then took a 90-degree angle, then went out 40 foot more, then went straight down another 40 feet, till you came to a staging room that had 7 hollowed out carved places. Inside were 7 granite stone sarcophagi. And in the corner of that room was found another shaft, cut straight down to 90 feet underneath the Sphinx. And there they found the tomb of Osiris, a sarcophagus that was over 12 feet long, whose lid alone weighed 9 tons. It rested in a pool of water surrounded by 4 pillars on each corner. They had appeared to be, at one time, black granite stone, obelisk, but has since been destroyed. So was there a god in there? Who was inside this giant sarcophagus? Well, Egyptologists tell us nobody was in there. It was a symbolic tomb, and this place was a place of prayer and worship. Although there are no remnants of any offerings to the gods or sacrifices that were made, and there were no ladders of any means of getting down to the tomb. Another interesting point is the shape and design of the tomb of Osiris. It has no markings, no magical inscriptions to ensure the god's king's passage into heaven. It was blank, not a single hieroglyphic on the tomb itself anywhere. It was pretty rare for any sarcophagus to be made up of solid granite, but there is no other place that contains a giant sarcophagi, and it's just as mysterious as this tomb. They weigh up to 50 tons and were carved from a single block of granite. Sarcophagi were moved underground through hallways carved out of bedrock that are barely wide enough for the sarcophagi to fit through. Now, there are theories on how they move stones for constructing their pyramids. Are there any other gods that have a tomb? Why is Osiris depicted with his dark green alien skin? Was it to represent his death and what happens to the human body after it dies? Or was it meant to represent an alien god who descended from the stars? Or was this just a figment of the imagination of some ancient Egyptian? It does seem curious that the ancient Egyptians don't speak of Osiris as some kind of men spoke about him as a king of their past. Their first king, the creator of civilization, he had his own land. His brother and sister has had land as well. He had his own people that prayed to him, his own temples dedicated to him. Laws and rules were governed by him. And for example, to show you how far back in time that Osiris supposedly existed, his first rules for helping to create civilization was that his followers, man, can no longer eat each other. He banned cannibalism. One of the first laws decreed by the Lord Osiris that no man can do. He made many laws, purchases, lands, trade in slaves, ordered construction, and a list of other things that any normal human might do, but was no normal human. He was the first god king, Lord Osiris, creator of civilization. I want to get your opinions, people, below of what was the pharaoh Osiris up to? Why did he reveal what the Sphinx truly looks like? Some people say there's many other secrets of the Sphinx that is still yet to be revealed today. He goes by the name of Brian Forrester. You may have seen him on his YouTube channel. He has about 125,000 subscribers, and he runs a tour company over there in Peru called the Hidden Inca Tours. And we're going to be supplying the link to his incredible YouTube channel and his website. But Brian Forrester explores ancient lost worlds and a hidden history on location videos made by the adventurer exploring Peru, Bolivia, Egypt, even Hawaii, Easter Island, and other exotic places, with a special emphasis on evidence that's advanced technology and human history are at least 10,000 years old. Well, we've got video, and it's going to be quite exciting. Brian has agreed to do a 4-part series right here at Third Phase Moon where we go all over the planet and check out these ancient structures. Could they be made by aliens? That's the big question, isn't it? All right, well, let's get right to it. So I want to go over this new video that you just put out from Peru, and this face in the mountain got me right away. Can you tell me exactly the location? What does this face represent? Was it carved out of the mountain?
Well, it's located at a location called Ollantaytambo, which is at the northern end of the Sacred Valley, pretty close to Cusco, which was the Inca capital. And the profile of the face is approximately 500 feet tall and more than 500 feet above the valley floor. Now, most people would think that it's just a natural phenomenon, but the first time I saw it, being a sculptor, I noticed that there's no vegetation growing on it. So I believe that it's an artificial construction, and the only plant growth that's on it is where the beard is, and what it represents is an ancient teacher called Viracocha that supposedly came from a distant land to teach the local people.
Well, so the locals over there believe that this is some kind of not artificial, but actually man-made for a purpose.
Exactly.
All right, so as we go through the ancient city here, we come along this little water fountain. You describe it as to have to be almost impossible to create this even today. It almost has to be a perfect geometry. Explain what this water feature represents.
Well, the interesting thing is that the Inca discovered megalithic ruins, such as at Ollantaytambo, and one of the examples is that fountain. It probably wasn't originally a fountain, but the Inca carved a slot in the top of it in order to be able to let water flow. And the fact is, when it's properly maintained, the water travels perfectly through it and lands in the center of the bowl below. And that takes a lot of engineering in terms of hydraulics, because the channel has to be the exact proper width and depth, and also the angle of the channel has to be perfect in order to achieve this. The fascinating thing that I wasn't allowed to show is if you run your finger across the front of it, you can actually make the water itself stick to the stone, and then when you flick it again, then it pops back out. It's a bit of an engineering marvel.
Well, so the theory basically here is that the Incas discovered this advanced technology, ancient civilization, and then built itself around it. The Incas were there after the fact of something that was there before, long ago.
Definitely, at many different locations, at Ollantaytambo, the city of Cusco, Machu Picchu, and other locations that were used by the Inca as ceremonial sites. It's obvious that there were megalithic works there prior to their existence, and each one of those megalithic works is also heavily damaged, not by people striking rocks against them, but something catastrophic happened in that location, wiping out the ancient civilization that had lost ancient high technology.
Wow, fascinating. Now, this is incredible. Again, advanced technology, engineering at its best. This throne, this seat, these two seats carved right out of the rock, and you rub your fingers against it, it seems like you see no evidence of any kind of chiseling or any kind of modern day tool work on here. How was this made? What's your thoughts on this process of how this is possible?
Well, another interesting thing is that there are no sharp corners. So every corner appears like it was made using a router of some kind, but we see no tool marks, and that's what's very intriguing. When you look at ancient Egypt, we can see the use of ancient high technology in terms of power tools, but in Peru, there don't seem to be any tool marks whatsoever. So we're looking at the possibility of this ancient advanced culture being able to manipulate the matter itself, possibly turning hard stone into almost like a toffee material temporarily, shaping it, and then letting it reset as hard stone again.
Via maybe a sound wave or some kind of a laser type carving tool? What would you think?
Yeah, it's more likely that it was sound, not light. So some kind of the ability to be able to strike a certain frequency and manipulate the matter itself, shape it, and then turn that frequency back off and let the stone solidify or re-solidify.
Well, almost like turning a rock into putty and then letting it dry up again into its form after once it's molded. This is amazing because you see in, again, more video that you've taken, and it's quite incredible. You capture this in 4K. Everybody, you got to take a look at Brian Forrester's YouTube channel. But I see you take out the level on your iPhone or some kind of app, and this thing levels up perfectly. This is even hard to even do in modern day buildings.
Yeah, that's what's quite amazing. And these surfaces are several thousand years old. Yet when you and of course, there's lots of earthquake activity that happens in that part of Peru. But any place that you find this megalithic work in the bedrock itself, you find that the surfaces are easily within 1 degree of being perfectly level, which is an astonishing achievement.
It's quite incredible, and there's so many of these advanced lost worlds that you have been discovering. So it's going to be our pleasure right here at Third Phase Moon to have you back for more incredible adventures from around the world. Brian Forrester, thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase Moon. Look forward to hearing from you real soon.
Always a pleasure, Blake. Thank you.
All right, Brian, we got new information coming in from Egypt. Apparently a new pyramid was found recently that's said to be over 3,700 years old and dating back to the 13th dynasty. The head of the Egyptian antiquity, Mohammed Afifi, revealed that the pyramid was discovered 40 miles south of Cairo. All that remains is the inner structure of the pyramid, including a corridor and other remains, including blocks showing the interior design of the pyramid and the remnants of a causeway. Now, there have been countless theories on how the pyramids were constructed, from slave labor to floating blocks using sound and even water, and the speculation that extraterrestrials may have had a hand in helping out the humans construct these monumental creations. But a new theory has emerged. One that can't account for every mystery that comes with the pyramid and how it was constructed. A theory so simple that archaeologists simply overlooked it. The theory states, in its most basic form, that the pyramids are not full pyramids but are in fact built over the top of pre-existing earth mounds. So what makes this theory better than any other? Well, it's the ability to answer these questions that we've had about the pyramid. Like, first off, when you enter inside the pyramid through the tunnel of Al-Mahmud, created in the year 1819 AD, you'll notice something that very few people pay attention to, and the fact that even Eric von Däniken made a note of this but was unable to put two and two together. Now, if you look at this pyramid closely from within, it looks like you're climbing straight into a direct rock attached to the earth. It's not cut into square blocks or any other shape. As a matter of fact, it appears to be pure earth. Now, if one was to take a look around Egypt, if you're by the Giza Plateau, you would think that there's not many mountains around, but that wouldn't be true. The Black Desert has many mountains. But an interesting fact that there are already middle-shaped, pre-existing pyramids that they've covered in the durable black stone. And this black stone is the same stone that is found around the perimeter base of the Great Pyramid. Now, we can also reference other pyramids like Abu Rash. You can see inside of the pyramid, and if you look at the walls, you notice that they're not blocks stacked together. They're nothing but living earth, nothing but carved earth. And this incredible structure from ancient times is almost always overlooked by tourists and archaeology alike. It sits alone by itself, begging for us to discover its secrets. Now, let's consider this. If you had an already existing mound and you could cut out the inside of it into blocks, then reposition the same blocks to help case the outside of the pyramid, it would save you time, hours, and our pyramid would already be completed. So this is where it gets kind of crazy. So when you give a time frame of the Great Pyramid being built within 20 years, well, this one theory that actually is able to answer the question, because most of the pyramids would have already been built by Earth itself, and were simply, in its case, 20 years, definitely plausible in the theory. And there's speculation that these pyramids were built from top down, which doesn't make any sense, but It does appear already being built on a pre-existing earth mound. Just take a look at some of these other pyramids found in Egypt. If you're wondering about the correlation with Rhine's belt, well, the problem with that is that the same correlation can be found numerous of times. The Black Desert, where middle-shaped mountains exist. Well, consider how much easier it would be if we didn't have to lift the blocks up the pyramid, creating a big ramp or levelers, pulleys, or any of that stuff, because the blocks are already on top. You simply cut them out of the middle and repurpose them on the outside. And then there's an argument that the Great Pyramid is in the exact center of Earth, the landmass. Well, unfortunately, this common misconception has been calculated, and the exact center of Earth's landmass is not the Great Pyramid. Unfortunately, in fact, it's about 1,000 miles away. The exact center of Earth, the landmass, which today lies directly in the country of Turkey. Well, let me know, do you think, did the ancient Egyptians build their incredible monuments on top of pre-existing mounds? Does this new theory change the history books? The ancient pyramids in Egypt have been standing for an estimated 4,500 years, which makes them relics of a time long past, with little to no information directly passed down from that culture available today. Part of the reason for our ignorance of what made the Egyptian people so great is that the Library of Alexandria, not only the largest repository of scrolls and books available in Egypt at the time, but what was estimated to be the largest collection of written information in one place in history. Furthermore, no one really knows who burned down the Great Library. There only exist various theories and guesses. The most common suspect in modern teachings of history is that it was Julius Caesar himself who had started the fires, but other scholars place the blame on other figures in history, such as Edward Gibbons, a bishop to Gregory, with all the accusers themselves having problems with the accused, either personally or as a matter of religion, which makes the accusations questionable at best. Unfortunately, there is little to no chance that in the modern age we'll be able to fully unearth the details about the burning and overall loss of the Library of Alexandria. It is because of all the loss of literature that the modern day scientists have no idea why thermal scans are showing of what appears to be a heat image from deep inside the ancient limestone structure of the Egyptian pyramids. As you can see in this image, there are red heat signatures coming from somewhere inside of the pyramid in the form of heating various bricks in the rows. Unfortunately, it isn't easy to gain access to inside any of these pyramids, even if it was for the pursuit of knowledge. It isn't just one pyramid either. Various pyramids are showing these strange heat signatures, including the largest known pyramid in Giza. Well, to rule out one simple solution, such as the sun heating the stones naturally in the middle of the day, or stones cooling down quicker than others during the night, thermal images scans were taken of various stones of the pyramid at 4 different times of the day. Now, researchers are operating under the assumption that the thermal images are showing what is some kind of passageway leading to a large room that is heating up. Furthermore, other heat signature anomalies are detected in the upper half of the pyramid that the experts say need to be investigated further. Well, because this is still an ongoing investigation, there are no official word on what was causing this mysterious heat, and because entering the sacred pyramids is still a hot political topic in Egypt, it may be a long time until anybody is able to personally investigate, and it'll likely be a long time until someone does. Not to mention, there is a very likely chance of activating traps and hazards still waiting to take lives inside those ancient burial grounds set by the original creators to keep looters out. Now, take a look at this. There have been booby traps in pyramids. Listen to this. Ancient Egyptian engineers would cover up the tomb floors with hematite powder, a sharp metallic dust designed to cause a slow and painful death to those who inhaled enough of it. And that stuff was quite the shelf life. When Dr. Zahi Hawass, the Egyptian real-life Indiana Jones, entered the Barahia Oasis tomb in 2001, his team found the sarcophagus booby-trapped with 8 inches of this stuff, forcing them to abandon their expedition until they could come back with hazmat suits and respirators. While it's fair to say there are probably no real mummy curses, although we don't know, it is legend that has been one of the most effective anti-Tomb Raider devices ever designed. And that legend got a huge boost when many members of the Howard Carter's 1923 King Tut expedition subsequently died from unusual causes. Another deterrent are labyrinths. With false rooms, secret doors, and miles of mazes, a prospective Tomb Raider was likely to get lost forever. Now get this, the Chinese did not mess around. While exploring Emperor King Shi Huang's tomb, they discovered numerous pressure plate crossbow traps carefully coated with a preservative called chromate, probably still working 2,000 years later. This is straight out of Indiana Jones. Ufologists around the world are claiming that pyramids throughout the planet are all showing anomalies of heat signatures. They believe that this could be a sign of upcoming events. Are these heat signatures trying to tell us, warn us about an upcoming event? Well, with the ongoing plan to discover new tombs and hidden burial chambers, the project uses thermal imaging technology on the pyramid, which found mysterious heat spots on the monuments. At the lower level of the Cheops Great Pyramid, they found an area of neighboring blocks that had a heat temperature gap far greater than would normally be expected for adjacent stones made with different qualities of limestone. With the ongoing plan to discover new tombs and hidden burial chambers, the project used thermal imaging technology on the pyramid, which found mysterious heat spots on the monuments. At the lower level of the Cheops Great Pyramid, they found an area of neighboring blocks that had a temperature gap far greater than would normally be expected from adjacent stones made with different qualities of limestone. Since air gaps don't hold heat as well as rock or sand, a difference in temperature could reveal information about the pyramid structure hidden beneath the surface. However, the team still aren't certain exactly what it is or why. I want to get your opinions from around the world, people. Leave your comments below. What is happening in Egypt and all around the world in regards to these pyramids showcasing anomalous heat signatures? Why now? What is the cause? Is this some kind of sign? Again, I want to hear your comments below because I got a feeling you've got some opinions. And if you've got something that you want to share, something exciting, did you capture a UFO on video? Reach out to us at Third Phase of Moon. My email is in the contact info below in the description. And don't forget, we're going to be holding our Friday night radio show. That's right, Friday night radio show and Monday. We do it live. We take your calls from around the world in regards to the UFO phenomenon happening right now. The number to call in is 347-934-0378. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. We're not alone. Blake Cousins. We'll see you again next time.